wanted to introduce you to MARS, Mastering Academic and Research Skills, which was a program that I led the development of in my previous role at MONASH, which was as a research and learning coordinator in the library there, where I managed a team of librarians and learning skills advisors to collaborate with academics on embedding research and learning skills into the curriculum. One of my key areas of responsibility was the Monash Business School. It's had a name change since my profile was put together, and in particular the postgrad coursework cohort, which was a cohort that numbers 6,800 students from 80 different countries. 66% of those are international students, and they've come from undergraduate studies outside of Australia, so they're coming to Australia as new students. 35% of those students were from China, and 70% of the students identify with English as a second language. So added to this diversity was the needs of the local cohort. So the domestic students numbered 45% part-time, and there were also a great number of students coming from alternative pathways and from low socioeconomic backgrounds. So there was a pressing need for a practical and a sustainable means of scaffolding research and learning skills into the curriculum for this cohort. And we could see that with students coming into what we called research and learning drop-ins at the library, where students would come with their assignment, and many of them really couldn't make any sense of what their lecturers were asking them to do. And if they came in droves, we would get in touch with that particular lecturer to say, look, are you interested in working with us on maybe changing the assignment, or rewriting your assignment, maybe adding a marking rubric to that assignment to make things clear for students. So that was working in a more ad hoc way, but we did want to be a bit more strategic about the units that we targeted. So that came about with conversations with the faculty when they were developing their capstone units for their particular degrees, and the two degrees that we started working on were the accounting master's programs. So we started thinking about the pathway that students would take through their degree, and identified a research and learning skills curriculum required for them to succeed in their specific degree. We identified gaps in various units and worked with the lecturers to address these through assessment design, to ensure that students were developing and practicing and getting feedback on those skills that were relevant to the particular degree. So we developed this program. I don't expect you to read that from the back. I'm sorry it hasn't come out in a very readable way, but I'll just run through it really quickly. At the centre of this four-dimensional program was that thinking around the pathways that students were taking through their degrees, what kind of skill development was happening at particular points in the degree. And we undertook that by quite a comprehensive, I'll just skip through to this, to this slide, quite a comprehensive curriculum alignment process where we looked at the Monash graduate attributes, we looked at the AQF level 9 skills. We looked at what was really useful for accounting was that already existing were threshold learning outcomes that students needed to demonstrate to get into that profession. And also at the same time was the Monash Better Teaching, Better Learning agenda, which really started to challenge lecturers in the way that they delivered their content and their assessment. So the four different areas, or the four different elements of the program was one, this in-curriculum delivery that I've mentioned, but this was also supported by co-curricular programs. So there's a one-day orientation workshop program which kind of introduces students to some of the expectations of studying in Australia and gives them a bit of a taster of the various skills that they need to develop, which is really around finding and evaluating sources, writing, academic writing, reflective practice. So there were a lot of reflective practice is something that's really starting to become quite a strong assessment piece in a lot of these courses as well as teamwork and oral presentation skills. So a lot of these students are coming from backgrounds where this really wasn't part of their learning in their undergraduate degree. We then, another area that we looked at was an online approach to delivering some of this material. So we're really drawing on this idea that students needed multiple entry points into this material. So we developed a Moodle site, that's our learning management system, which extended some of these ideas from the orientation workshop program, where students could start to practice and develop some of those skills with some online activities, and really starting to utilise the learning management space, system space, as a teaching and learning space rather than a repository where we would dump heaps of extra material for them. And the last area was a kind of leading out of those, the online modules, was some writing skills workshops where students could again come and practice these some of the writing skills they were developing and get some feedback. So the numbers, if we look at that top line there, that blue line is the total numbers for all those 4 aspects of the program. And if we look at semester 1 and 2 from 2015, in total, we reached 9,000 student attendances across the different elements of the program in 2015 alone, and that is continuing to grow this year. The next line down is the in-curriculum resources and delivery. So that was really the key aspect, that had the key impact for us for this program, which is then supported by the co-curricular stuff, so the writing workshops, the online material, and the orientation program. This is really a tool. It's called the Research Skill Development, or RSD framework, that came out of University of Adelaide, which helped us to articulate our research and learning curriculum. So these are some of the skills that we recognise students need to develop across the research process. So through finding, generating information, analysing, synthesising, communicating and applying. And across the horizontal part of the table there is the level of autonomy, or the level of rigour that students really need to demonstrate across different aspects of their degree. So this maps quite nicely to AQF7 and AQF9. And this really just was a really powerful graphical representation to the lecturers in the accounting degree, master's accounting degree, that some of their, or their core units were really all very strongly situated at an AQF7 level. So they looked a little bit like undergraduate units. So we worked closely with the lecturers to push those units into AQF9 territory by encourage them to move away from exams and testing and into more rigorous academic activities. We had great feedback. I won't go into all this because you'll be able to get these slides, but I'm happy to share this this practice with you. It's a model that's worked really well at Monash, and in my new role in the arts faculty, I'm implementing a similar program in the postgrad programs there. So I'd love to be able to share that with you. If anyone's interested in developing something like that at your universities, please get in touch. I'm happy to share some more information and research that we have around the program. Thanks.